It's time to play with the Popseidon a bit. This was after doing that one run on Midnight Mansion that was a bit disastrous. So we're going to have another run with Popseidon, this time on Flooded Valley that will not, maybe will be a little bit disastrous, but you'll see that later. It's more so extremely, extremely frustrating than disastrous, but there was still some times where things could have been improved a bit, but it was a pretty cool run, I guess, here and there. So I'm going to start off by going for this greedy play into Popseidon. I just need to get it as fast as possible. So I'm going to be doing what I did similarly before, which was going into a destroyer and then a reactor and abyssal warrior, and then finally that can save up to Popseidon. It can do a pretty big save up, which is going to be really nice, especially with Brickle 2, and it doesn't really involve that much. Plus there's also the Moab shove for stalling, of course, and we'll have that stalling later, which you will see is not the most fun thing, stalling with Popseidon. Also, stalling on Flooded Valley is just really hard in general, but when you get Popseidon into, then it's something else. So I'm going to be putting Popseidon here, even though that's much better spot for Abyssal Warrior. That's because I just need this better Popseidon spot for the late game, so it's kind of a trade-off, a harder mid-game for a much easier late game. And this time it's like I really need that easier late game because it all comes down to the late game, not so much the mid game. So the Abyssal Warrior is going to be doing a good job increasing the pierce of all that. That's going to be very useful. The Destroyer does like something a bit late game. The Reactor is going to be decreasing the cooldown for Brickle and Popseidon, which is going to be pretty big. So yeah, and then the shove also is going to be useful in the late game too for stalling. So all these guys are going to be pretty much doing something in the late game that's going to be helping me out big time. That Destroyer more so is going to be taking out zebras, which will be an issue because Popseidon just leaves down an ungodly amount of zebras everywhere. It's so annoying. Even with that Destroyer shooting grapes and darts everywhere, I still sometimes leak to zebras. So yeah, I guess everything is really useful in the late game. So we're going to be having all of this ramp up. 63 took some more tries than I would have liked, really. I just needed to set the Abyssal Warrior on strong and use my abilities in a good time, and then I can take out 64 with just a big Mega Mine and shove the rest of those fortifieds. So all that stuff, honestly, the saving up to the Popseidon really wasn't hard. It was more so after, and this run did take a very long time. It was 3 hours total, which is way longer than I prefer most of these to take. That's really just because the round 98 was so bad. There was just an ungodly amount of RNG, so you'll see that later. So I get the Popseidon, then I need to get the overclock, and then a spike storm. The spike storm is what I'm going to be using to take out the rest around 100. I can do a big mine stack for 4 mines at 16,000 damage. The Popseidon really just doesn't do much of anything to round 100, even with overclock and naval tactics and ability. So I'll be needing that spike storm to get the rest of that, but 16,000 with 4 mega mines is going to be a lot of damage, so that's really going to be the bulk of the round 100 damage. Then that spike storm is going to clean up, and Popseidon's just going to get the rest of really the insides, which is what it's going to be good for. And then, as you can notice here, I will need to stall some of these rounds to get the abilities up. It's not so much of an issue until when round 96 comes in, because I can just like blast through 93, 94, and then I have my abilities up for 95 anyways, because all those purples on 95. But on 96, I'm going to have to start being careful, really. And here's really the big thing. Not the bouncing balls flying everywhere will kill the stalls, but that's not really what I'm worried about, because I can use that ability early, and then they're all disappeared by the time I need to get the stall. It's the, what is it? It's the giant waves that Popseidon releases, and their arc is so massive that it will shoot up to like anywhere. It will go all the way to the top, even if it's targeted on close. And because the seeking projectiles, they don't follow the targeting of the tower, it will just go to what's ever closest. So it will target the closest balloon if Popseidon set on close, which I try to keep it on most of the time because that's still the most consistent. And then what it will do is that the seeking projectile will go out, and then that will target first. It won't target close, so it will go all the way up to the top and kill the stall balloon, and I have to like back out every time to make sure everything's good. That 97 also took a bit of tries. That was to be able to beat 97 with all abilities up. But this 98 took an hour and a half to do, because getting the stall was just so incredibly inconsistent. The Popseidon would always pop the last balloon, so I get that finally, that last BFB. It pops a little bit early, but I get my abilities up, and that's really all that matters. Just being able to get that to live long enough was just the biggest hurdle. Round 99 goes down, and then we're going to have a giant amount of cash bear. I got all 4 of those mines stacked up at the top. Well, right now it's 3, but a 4th comes off cooldown, and then this happens. The mines don't trigger on the bad. It's so close. Like I did it just so it's a little bit out of the ZOMG range, but apparently that's not enough for the bad, and I spent 3 hours on this and it got to here and I was so triggered. I just can't do it without those, well, 3 mines. I was able to use one of them, but yeah, I needed to buy a whole nother spike storm for that. So instead of getting 55,000 cash bear, which would be great for Popseidon on Flooded Valley, it's more like 41.7 thousand, which is very disappointing. I could have just redone it and just gotten it ever so slightly, done a whole bunch of testing so it gets the bad, but yeah, that one's just really disappointing. In my head, I want to say it's 55,000 or whatever cash spare, but in reality it ends up being that because I had to get that other spike storm to make up, and all the mines are still sitting there. Like, there's 3 mines still sitting up at the top, and that's just so annoying to see. But anyways, if interested, here's a clip just showing that yes, there are mine placements where it will ignore all ZOMGs but then hit the bads. That is what I was trying to go for, and I guess I just messed it up, so yeah. Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!